All right, and we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 19 of Narrations and Lamentations with Mittierim and the boys. I am Mittierim, and with me tonight is one of the two boys. Michael is having a little bit of computer trouble, so he's going to try and join us as soon as he fixes his computer. But I do have with me Skip the Warhammer Geek. Skip?
Hello, Mitt. Happy New Year to you.
And you as well. Hopefully, all of our viewers out there had a good New Year. So, it has been about 2 weeks since we've done this thing, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty anxious to get back to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, today's going to be kind of an episode about just us getting back into it. We do hope next week, maybe later on, to continue with our themed shows about each of the different armies with different guests. So if you do consider yourself an expert on one of the armies we have not yet done, definitely feel free to give me a message or a poke or something and let me know, because we would love to keep doing that. But we've got kind of a wide variety of questions, or rather topics that we're going to deal with tonight. And so the first one I want to go ahead and deal with, since we got Skip here and we're kind of maybe waiting for Michael to get going, is Skip has started in the last couple of weeks what I would view as our first spin-off. So, Skip, if you want to go ahead and tell folks what you're doing with your channel, and we'll kind of chat about it a bit.
Spinoff, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I've created my own as Skip the Warhammer Geek, and what I am doing is just kind of going through as a kind of a rookie player here to the Warhammer world, and just kind of going over different things about different armies, about how to set up, about how to do, charges, things like that. It's basically me asking the Warhammer world for help in becoming a better general. And I've started a new series. It's called Why I Suck at Warhammer. And I'm getting a lot of good responses for that. So for those of you who have offered me opinions and everything, I want to say thank you. There's more to come, but go in and check it out. I've got about 45 subscribers now, so that's pretty cool. And I'm very happy to have each and every one of you who have subscribed. And if you haven't, by all means do so. It's at least entertaining, if not anything else.
Yeah, I've been very amused by them. I find it very funny that your second Why I Suck at Warhammer was really more why Josh is a bad man and beats me at Warhammer.
Oh, those ogres. The bane of my existence. But that's okay. Well, it's all in good fun. So.
Right. No, I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just... I mean, if I was, I wouldn't have been one of the first ones up to show you all my secrets about those three particular units.
Exactly.
So let me ask this: I know you've been very focused on getting information about how to play the Dark Elves right now. Mm-hmm. But is that kind of where you're limiting yourself, or where do you ultimately see that channel going?
Now, right now, it's just been the Dark Elves, since I kind of wanted to learn how to play them better. But I'm just kind of in that wait-and-see mode a little bit, too, to see what the End of Times does with Dwarves and Bretonnia. But I do have both of those, in the background, as well as Tomb Kings. So eventually I'll start working those in. It's just been, since the new Elf book has come out with Kane, I've been kind of focusing on the Dark Elves a little bit more. They're not necessarily my favorite, but I think they're one of the hardest ones for me to learn. And if I can master at least 3/4 of how to play the Dark Elves, it'll help me with my other armies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I know Mitch, MC1 Gamer, was kind of talking about, maybe it would help you if you did sort of post-game synopses on your channel. Have you given any thought to doing that?
Yeah, I think on our next game, I'm just going to scribe down some notes from when we play, because you're going to be doing the battle report, so I don't want to,
Right.
kind of double up on that. But once your battle report is up and people start viewing, that's when I'll put mine up as kind of my follow-up. And I'll make notes during the game of what worked for me, what didn't, what I was feeling in this particular situation. And I think Mitch is right. It would probably help me in the long run, too.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think, like, as you title them, you should definitely title them, like, reference to the battle report numbers, so that if folks see the battle report on my channel and they want to kind of see your take on it, they'll know exactly where to go, and they'll be sort of self-referential.
Exactly.
So that's very cool. I like I said, I was very pleased with seeing you do that. I personally have loved doing the whole YouTuber thing, and glad to see you getting in on it too. It's been a heck of a lot of fun for me.
Well, I hope it's kind of like Petticoat Junction off of Beverly Hillbillies, where it was actually a success, or like Frasier off of Cheers. And I hope it doesn't become like After MASH.
I'm gonna like totally lose some respect here, but I actually watched all the episodes of After MASH on YouTube, and I liked it. But that's just me. So I was kind of trying to push off the announce until Michael got here, but his computer may not actually end up working tonight. He got blue screened right before he started, so he's kind of beating it with a stick, I think. But it is kind of time to move on to the next topic. And one of the things that will come as a surprise will be the announcement here that as a group, Mittierim and Du Bois are going to be taking Brawler's Bash by storm. All three of us are going to go. So we're super. We had just Michael had decided to come with me last night, but Skip wasn't at our normal gaming night. So we heard back from him today, and it is official. We are going as a club to go get our butts whooped at Brawlers. So
yes, bring on the losing. Yes.
So any thoughts you have about that, Skip?
I'm looking. I think that you and I had played the kind of the pre-Brawlers tournament last year here at one of our local gaming stores, and we had a good time doing it. There wasn't any over competitive players there that I remember. So I got a good taste of it, but I'd like to say at least I've been in one grand tournament, and the brawl for it all is probably a good way to start. Just go in there, hit it with what you got best, and may the best man win. Or woman.
I agree. So I think everybody is pretty aware that my plans are to take the ogres. What are you thinking army-wise?
I'm actually going to do something that nobody respected me to do. I am taking Tomb Kings. Not the United Undead. I am just going to take Tomb Kings and just go for it and see.
Hoping to get best in race by having no other competitors? Is that what our aim is?
Yeah, that's going to be it. Maybe best sportsman for having everybody just let them run over me, to get some points. There we go.
Well, that was sort of what worked for you when you took Bretonia to the practice tournament last year. So
yeah, that's true.
He did win best sportsman at that tournament. I thought that was pretty funny. And Michael is obviously going to be taking dwarves, his first love, and frankly the only army he's got painted up to 3,000 points. And I have been in talks with another YouTuber who is working on seeing if he's not going to fly in and join us. And that fellow is Whoopie Womp.
Wow.
He is talking about getting a flight down here to our local airport and crash in here at the house, and then we'll kind of all go to the tournament together. So I'm hoping that'll work out for him, because I think it would be a great time, the four of us going and making a splash at Brawlers. So
if that would definitely have some stories to tell, at least.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if anybody that's watching this is going to Brawlers and I would love to meet up with everybody. I don't know if we'll have time to get extra games in, but if we can, that would be cool. But if nothing else, just kind of a sit and bullshit with some folks would be really great. So, and some of our questions for this week are about Brawler, so I'm not going to go too much into it right now. I would like to say, just to give you guys kind of a heads up on the channel, we are going to be doing some Brawlers Bash practice games. Michael and I got in our first one last night, so we're not going to let that completely eclipse the narrations. Well, obviously not the show, but definitely not the narrative battles. So you'll still be able to see the stuff that you normally come to my channel to see, but there's going to be a little bit more tournament tinge to it. So at least for the next couple months, as Brawlers is the weekend of March 14th and 15th. So we're definitely going to want to get in some practice games before then at the 3,000 point level with they've got some really crazy scenarios where you get to like fight Mel Gibson and Tom Cruise and Gary Busey and some other strange stuff. So it should be a lot of fun. In other news about that, though, I thought it was really, really funny that they basically were like, you can use end times, but all of the special characters are getting banned. Like last year, if I recall correctly from our friends who went, they banned 3 special characters, and that was it. The ban list, I think, is up to 12 now, and they're all from end times. So at least we know we don't have to deal with Nagash, and don't have to handle that. Which is just funny because, I mean, the idea that Nagash is too broken for Brawlers is just very, very funny. And by me phrasing it that way, I'm sure I'm going to get another nasty comment from Mitch. But so let's see, what else were we going to talk? Oh, general plans for. Well, before we get to general plans, let me see if anybody's left any comments.
Okay.
Because we got the reason why I'm kind of forcing through stuff on the first half of the show is we got just a torrent of questions this time, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to get them all done in an hour or a little bit more. So, no, just Dark CT saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, our friendly local Skaven. So, and just to kind of give everybody a heads up, you may notice that there's one topic we're not really going to delve into tonight, and that is the overwhelming rumors that have just been slapping everybody in the face today. That was a choice that we're not going to discuss that because we want this first show back to be a happy one. So, frankly, I have been posting and commenting furiously today. So if you really want to know my point of view before we go into it, just go and check all the other videos because I'm sure you'll see my giant blog posts about it. But so in general, discussions on the narratives. For those of you who've seen the last battle report, the story of Torga has been resolved, and one of the things that I've been asked sort of away from this is sort of where are we going with the narrative now? We definitely are going to keep going with it. Now, I personally very much want to bring my Warriors of Chaos in and deal with them a little bit more because I've been kind of neglecting them. Getting the Empire in and resolving some of their stuff would be fun. But what about you, Skip? Any particular targets you want to hit for the narrative this year?
Well, I'm not going to spoil a lot, but I know the one we had scheduled this week, and I couldn't make it, but next week, we're going to forward the Bretonnian side of things, at least from my end. And we're going to forward it a lot, depending on what happens. So I don't want to spoil anything, but it's big. So, that's going to maybe resolve itself next week. But I also like to bring in my dwarves, too, because I'm really excited about playing them and getting them more into the storyline as well. And, of course, maybe even hopefully one day getting a victory with my dark elves. That's just one. That's all I ask. One.
Well, come on, man. Let's not get crazy now. You've only got 12 months.
Wow.
No, I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I think you're getting a lot of good information from your channel, and I think knuckling down we'll make it happen. I got faith in you. I think you'll win at least one.
That's it. I'll be happy.
Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. And again, it's a shame we can't talk about it with all three of us, but I might as well mention it. One of the things I did get for Christmas unexpectedly was Triumph and Treachery. Mm-hmm. So we got our first Triumph and Treachery game in. Now, we didn't do a battle report of this because we were wanting to learn the rules and kind of see how the flow went before trying to take a bunch of pictures. So, Skip, why don't you go ahead and tell the folks kind of what we experienced in Triumph and Treachery?
You know, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, you and I ended up getting positioned next to each other, so we kind of slugged it out, while Michael just kind of lansy-pansy, little high elf himself, just kind of walked up and just said, screw you guys, I'm going to win because you're going to wipe both yourselves out. But I think if we had a fourth person, I think it would have been a lot better, a lot more fun for all of us, because it basically became you and me, and then Michael attacked. Then it was Michael and me, and then you attacked. It didn't flow as well as it should have, I think. But all in all, I love the rules. I think that they're very interesting. The cards that you get can definitely change a battle, even right before it begins, or even in the middle of it sometimes. So it's, it was pretty. I think it's a pretty good system.
Mm-hmm. I definitely enjoyed it too. The one thing I will say, it can be a little what's the word I want to use? Abusable, because I was playing Warriors of Chaos, and I only brought a level 2 fire wizard into the game, and both Skip and Michael brought level 4s. So it was like every time it was magic turn, I was everybody's enemy because that was the best way for them to get spells off because I only had a level 2 to dispel with. So I ate an awful lot of magic that game.
True.
But it was fun. I think it's something we definitely want to play with a little bit more. And I think certain ones of the rules, like the mercenary rules and stuff, is something that I could see coming in to a one-on-one game.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I like
give us different splashes. So,
yeah.
All in all, that was a very fun little supplement, and I definitely think we will be getting in battle reports with it again shortly. I didn't say again. Getting in battle reports with it shortly. So let's go ahead. We were going to do our acceptance speech, but I do want to give Michael as much time as is possible to get on because I would hate to do the acceptance speech without him. So I guess we'll go and start some of these questions and see how far we can slog through it before he can get on. Okay. So first questions, and these are from Mitch, MC1 Gamer, my the winner of the 2014 Rat Award for being the best rumor monger in the YouTube community. For those of you who didn't see the award show. But his first question is that Brawler's Bash is a hyper-competitive environment where the focus is on killing as much of your enemy as possible, not much on objectives at all. Given that you mostly abhor the over-the-top cheese of tournament-style lists, are you ready to dip heavily into the cheddar to compete, or are you going for other aspects of the game? Social, painting, converting, etc. You go ahead and answer this one first, Skip.
Yeah, I'm gonna become Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game, because I'm not scared. I'm gonna take some death magic because I'm going with Tomb Kings. I mean, I've got nothing else to lose. So there you go.
Woo! Wow. So just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, he had decided that he was going to this tournament less than 10 hours ago. And he's already gone to the dark side. Go ahead.
And the reason I'm doing this is, one, it's totally outside my element. You know, if it was narratives and stuff like no. But since this is come all be all, just throw it all down, have some fun. I just want to see what it's like to walk in on that side of the board, so to speak.
All right. Well, my answer to this is sort of half and half. There are certain things and certain builds that I have not taken in our home games just because I think they're a little harsh. I am going to sort of loosen my leash on those a little bit. I know Mitch got on me the other day in the comments in your thing about how the Ogre Death Star is horrible, blah, 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 blah. And I made the comment to him that I don't play an Ogre Death Star. I usually put 2 characters in an Ogre unit, doesn't even character wall it, and just go with it. But last night against Michael, I did a tried and true, trademarked Gut Star, 4 characters in it, just character walled him in the face, and I don't even know. I may end up actually backing off that for Brawlers, to be honest. But I am considering things that I would not normally consider in our game. But that being said, at the end of the day, I'm going just to meet a bunch of new players, to throw down for 5 games of Warhammer, and this is my vacation for this time of year. So I don't know that I'm going to get another vacation this year. So I just want to go in and have fun. So I'm bringing some, let's call them less than optimal choices. I've changed my list actually from the battle report that folks will see when I get it up. I've already made major changes to my list. I found that I missed my Yetis when I didn't have them in last time, so I am going to be bringing the Yetis to Brawlers.
All right.
I'm going to bring at least one of the big monsters, either the Stonehorn, the Thunder Tusk, or the Giant, and I'm not sure which one yet. But beyond that, I am going kind of with what's left. I am going very hard, or at least allowing myself to go a little harder. So now that being said, I definitely want to go for the social side of things, the painting, the converting. I want to see new stuff. Now that I'm getting into converting stuff, I'd like to see what other people are doing, get some ideas, and just kind of enjoy the hobby for the weekend. That's my ultimate plan.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way of looking at it, too.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not stressing. I have no illusions that I'm going to walk in there and take best general or anything. I don't care. I mean, it might be nice to be best ogre, but again, that's one of those things that I'm not like holding my breath on. But beyond that, I want to go and have some fun, and I think we'll do that. So, question number 2. How do you adjust your armies currently focused on fluff and theme to handle the steamrolling armies that they're likely to face at Brawlers? What kinds of list building specifically do you have in mind to make your army as killy as possible? Remember, there's nothing wrong with sacrificing your own units. It's not about margin of victory. You just need to maximize Brawler. Preserving points isn't an issue as it would be at many tournaments. So what are you thinking as far as your Tomb Kings? What are you going to do to nut up with the dead guys?
I think I'm going to go with the Queen Colada list. I'm going to go shooting.
Nice. So it's just, 200 archers and a Kalita to just...
I've got in my first initial draft of my list I was working on earlier today, I have 80 archers right now.
That's a good start.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm going to test it out, see what happens. I may end up changing it, but I've had this list used on me, and it's bad. So that's why I was going to try to see if I can get the same results,
Yeah.
And I don't do a lot of shooty armies anyway when I play normally. So this is going to be a kind of outside of my box too.
Yeah. As for me, in general, the construction isn't all that different. I am, at least right now with my current test list, I'm giving some consideration to the Ogre Horde. But mainly the thing that will change it's noticeable is I'm going with different builds for my characters. Like normally Tok'ran does the 2-hand weapon and some silly stuff, like a challenge build. The build I'm playing with now is like 3-up armor save, 4-up ward save, Ogre Blade, Bit, Chog, the Slaughter Master is going to be like Fencer's Blades, Glittering Scales, Greedy Fist, that kind of stuff where I'm really just trying to squeeze every little bit out of each character. Excuse me. Speaking of the characters, I'm not actually using the Noblars 3 in my army because I want it to be judged for stuff that I've done. But the cool thing is that the 5th scenario of the tournament you get an assassin character that can be. You have to have a model for it, and it can be of a size for your army. So that's what the Noblars 3 are going to be. Is they're going to be my ogre assassin that'll be able to pop out of a unit and slaughter some folks. So I'll be taking that for you, Vince. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, I'm not going death magic. I actually like the lore of them all. So I'm going to keep that pretty much as is. I am undecided at this point whether I'm going to bring in the Hellheart or not. I didn't at the practice tournament I did last year, but I am seriously considering it. But other than that, I don't know that like the design of my list will change so much. I'll just be cranking it up to 11 a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah. So, question number 3. Will tears be shed in your acceptance speeches? Who will hold the statue? Who will you thank for making all this possible? Will there be any drama or political comments or risky shout-outs? Come on, award shows need this stuff. And a dance number. Definitely a dance number. Well, I don't really want to talk about the acceptance speech without Michael being here. If he can't get on today, we may end up having to make it a separate video. But I don't think that we're going to shed any tears. I, for one, am probably going to play it pretty straight, but we haven't talked to each other about what we're doing. So I have no idea what they're considering. I will probably be holding it because it's here at my house. But beyond that. Okay, so next set of questions. These are from Vince Venturella. And first question, hey Vince, and actually he left a comment. Let me check his comment first. He says, welcome back to us all. It's good to have us back on Wednesday nights. It's must-see YouTube. It's very good to hear, Vince. Thank you. And he says he's sure he's not alone that he would love to see a Triumph and Treachery battle report from us. Well, you definitely will. It's just going to be a matter of time. I think we're between fitting in narrative reports and practice for Brawlers, we'll get at least one in before we go off to Brawlers. I'm almost certain. But so question 1, we know what Smith's Warhammer did Michael and Skip acquire from St. Nick?
I only got one thing because it was kind of a light Christmas for us, but I've got the Hydra / Charybdis for the Dark Elves. So I'm going to be putting that together. Probably the Charybdis since I'm going with the Mariner theme.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got some paints too.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. So, do you know what Michael got? I don't know that he got anything.
He didn't mention anything to me.
Okay.
But
well,
I think
I guess we'll answer that later.
He might have got this computer from the Empire Engineering Corps since it's not working properly.
Oh, hey. It hasn't misfired and exploded, I don't think. I'm still waiting for him to tell me whether it's blown up or not. But, yeah. So have you decided, so you said you were going Charybdis with the kit?
Yeah, I am.
Yep.
It fits what I'm doing, so yeah, it was a no-brainer.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that. Are you working on painting it yourself, or have you even cracked the box yet?
I cracked the box. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna take me a while, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. So
very nice.
It's time to take off the training wheels and do some stuff.
Cool. So number 2, what one item would you all like to see out of the narrative in the new year?
Item. You can answer that one first, because I'm not really sure.
All right. Well, I was actually trying to get to where I can do a screen share, because the one thing that I want to get out of the narrative is introducing a new Empire character, and I'm trying to remember how the heck you do a screen share on this thing. Here it is. All right, so let me. So I have a Empire Griffin, a General on Griffin, And I've decided what my color scheme for the Griffin is going to be, and I want to show that. So for the front end of the Griffin, can you see that?
No, I see a big black screen. Oh, there it is.
Not good.
Now I see some ducks.
Okay. It's not ducks, they're albatrosses.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So that's what I'm doing characters for each of I'm doing units for each of the different counties in the Empire, and I haven't done one for Nordland yet, which is a big coastal area. So I thought it would be cool to introduce a character who's a general of the Empire on Griffin from Nordland, and in front of the Griffin is going to be an albatross, and the back of the Griffin is going to be a Black Panther. So
awesome.
I'm hoping it will look cool, but I'm going to stop sharing now and see what happens. Okay.
Oh, we're back.
I think I'm back to normal. Okay.
Yep.
I want to come up with a new character to kind of provide some focus and drive to the army other than the Archlector, so that I can play with kind of a different army builds. And I want him to be unique and be kind of a centerpiece to the army. The downside that I've set myself up for is that's going to be working with a lot of black and white and blending with some grays and even blending with the beak and everything. So it's going to be a very difficult painting challenge for me. But when I get it done, I want to sort of introduce it into the narrative with the conserves, I think. So that's really what I'm hoping to get done during this year for the narrative.
Well, that'll be cool looking. I can't wait to see that across the board.
Well, let's hope so. It'll either be that or it'll look like a penguin.
I'm thinking it's probably time to add something else to the Bretonnian army. I guess I'm going to kind of wait and see how things progress as to what the next character will be. I know I need to develop Anya a little bit more now that I'm in control of her, and she's part of the Bretonnian army now. So depending on how things go next week, we may see more of Anya coming on, and I need to find a model for her. Thanks to the models that we got, there is some Bretonnian conversions that I do have that I could play with. That looks more chaosy than Bretonnia, but I think it'll fit. So I'm probably going to use one of those models for her.
Right.
So that's kind of
that's cool.
Yeah. That'd be the first thing I can think of.
So, awesome. So it seems like we both want to introduce new stuff. I want to go ahead and interrupt because Vince just blasted us with comments again. So Vince is giving me he's giving me suggestions for the Ogre army for Brawlers. He says he'd be wary of the Gutstar for fear it being put out of control too easy, chapped up, etc. Plus, people are experienced with it and probably have big bomb spells to tap. It would probably give you at least 2 or 3 strong, overwhelming games and 1 to 2 big losses where that unit goes down. But I know my ogres, so it's a good advantage. And he says you get the big bronze balls awards for going straight TK. and he's already voting for you for best in army. Then he says, Noblar assassin, all will beat. And actually, yeah, you're right, Vince. And don't get me wrong, I like I said, I'm leaning away from the Gutstar and actually more towards the Ogre Horde, but I actually have other combat units on top of that. Like, I'm putting a lot, at least as it sits right now, a lot into infantry. So I have other support there as well, but I'm still tweaking with the list. We don't have to have the lists emailed in until February 28th, so I've got a while to play with it and see what is going to screw me. And then Caleb Goodson, who I think this is his first time commenting on us. So hello, Caleb. Thank you for watching. He says, Triumph and Treachery is pretty fun. He's played it against his Skaven and High Elf opponents, and the Empire proved to be victorious. Frankly, in our game, I would say the Empire proved to be victorious as well. The reason I say that is I was playing primarily Warriors of Chaos, but I took as my 300 points of mercenaries a Empire Engineer, a Hellblaster Volley Gun, and 5 Pistoliers. Pistoliers got killed like turn 1, but the Hellblaster Volley Gun just absolutely destroyed face. How many of your
Yeah.
models did I take off the board with that thing?
You reduced my Blackguard from 30 to about 12
Very
using that damn
nice.
thing.
And I also
Yep.
got one of the two gyrocopters that Michael was using as mercenaries.
Hmm.
And I got something else, but I was rolling like a boss, and it was just blowing stuff off the board left, right, and down the center, and that made me very happy.
Didn't you get Sir Reginald with that? Sir Reginald the Third or whatever it was now?
Yes, I did.
That's
Sir
what it was.
Reginald, the steaming pile. um, so, last question by Vince tonight is, what is our New Year's resolution for Warhammer? So, I think for me, the resolution was to go to Brawlers. So if I succeed this, then I have succeeded for the year and I can stop trying. What about you, Skip?
Just to become a better general. Even if I lose, I want to lose by points and not getting wiped off the board. So I think if I start just losing by points, that's a big step for me. So as long as I can improve with all my armies this year, I'll be totally happy.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea how you're going to be judging that? Just purely at your win percentage, or what?
Yeah, just up my win percentage or my tie percentage. If I hit up my tie percentage, I'll be very happy with that too. And just not putting everything in the L column. And maybe, my other thing, just maybe, I may be able to play the Orcs and Goblins this year. Just maybe. Just once. Y'all have
So
got
you
a
want
chance to play
one?
them.
So one game against the Orcs and Goblins is your New Year's resolution?
Just one.
I think we might be able to arrange that. You'll have to ask Alicia, pretty please.
Yeah, I will.
So, okay, that was the last question out of Vince. So next we go to Whoopie Womp, who I don't think has ever actually sent us in questions, but I can't. Apparently now that he's coming with us to Brawlers, and he's gonna be all highfalutin and sending questions. No, I'm giving him a hard time because I did. For those of you that don't follow the PMP, I've been posting a lot of my stuff there recently, and I've made a lot of progress in like the last 8 months. And I put one of the better models I've ever done up there this week, and he made a comment that was something like, well, you finally got to the point where I can give you critique again. Like, well, thank you that all my hard work for the last 6 months has finally got me to your minimum acceptable level to be critiqued. And I know what he was meaning, but the way it came out just cracked me up. So I'm been a little snarky with him just to mess with him since. So. But his question is, how did you guys get into wargaming? I guess I'll start this one since I was kind of the impetus that got you in.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons basically since I was 9 years old. I have pretty much up to this point in my life, I'm going to be 33 soon. I have played a weekly game of Dungeons and Dragons every week from the time I was 9 to now. In high school, one of my buddies played, I think it was a Dragon magazine article that showed some Warhammer, back when Warhammer actually did commercials and crap. And so we decided to pick it up, and I started with Dwarves, got really bored with their lack of movement, and switched to Empire for a while. And we played it for a couple of years and then just kind of petered out. Flash forward quite a long time to a year and a half ago, and I was looking for a job in my chosen field, which is sales, and I got an interview with Games Workshop, and I figured, well, you know what, might as well learn their new rules if I'm going to try and get a job selling crap there. So I ended up picking up I think I started with Bretonia, but then I found that their ogres were an army, so I snapped that up super quick and fell in love and brought the rest of the gaming group kicking and screaming with me, and the rest is history. And Skip?
Yeah, it's pretty much like he said. I've been gaming since the Ford administration, playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if that tells you anything,
Back when you had to carve your own dice out of dinosaur bones, right?
Yeah, we used chips. You remember chips? We remember, yeah. Okay, but I've been playing off and on since the late '70s. So Dungeons and Dragons, and then when I was up in Virginia working, I had a group in my gaming store that played Warhammer all the time. But I loved them all, but they were a bunch of douches too. So but I loved them, but they're douches when they come to Warhammer Fantasy. And I always told my wife, I said, no matter what, I'm not going to play Warhammer. I'm just not going to do it. I don't want to be involved in anything like that. And I'm just going to stick to my role playing. Well, as she reminds me each and every time I purchase something from Warhammer now, you said you weren't going to play anymore. You never play. But Josh kind of pulled the gaming group in, and I kind of fell in love with it. I still will never ever play 40K to this day. I'm going to say that on film right now. But as far as fantasy is concerned, I love it. So.
Yes, dance, my puppets, dance. So yeah, and actually that was true. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about Michael's story because I know it. I mean, if you want to go in detail with this, Whoop, we actually did a video probably 7 months ago called Introducing the JWFC, and it was basically us kind of telling our stories, including the one Skaven and Warriors of Chaos player who doesn't play with us anymore. He's had a part in there. But basically, Michael actually used to play 40K. And what did he say he used to play? Tau, maybe? Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
I think so.
But so he played that for a while and quit when it got stupid. And then basically went to role-playing. And I guess the other interesting fact is I found both you and he to enter our role-playing group from an internet ad. Mm-hmm. So I trolled the internet and found Skip and Michael, so they joined our D&D group, and then I dragged them into Warhammer. But there's that. And then his question is, how did you get to where you are now with Warhammer, and why? I think we kind of explained that already. I think we went through our whole our whole timeline there. As far as why, it's been a fun game, a fun way to spend some time together, and it's been awesome. That's all I really need to know. So, so last set of questions, and I'm getting the feeling that Michael is just going to absolutely miss this train. Is from Nicholas Belaert, actually. Again, I think he's watched us a few times, but this may be the first set of questions you've ever sent in. So thank you very much, Nicholas. It's always good to see new folks giving us questions so we don't have to rely on Vince. I bet he's already got a questions right now. So his question goes back to Brawlers, at least at first, and says, what made you make the leap to try a tournament, and how did you pick Brawlers of all the GT offerings?
Well, I mean, I'd answer it for you, but I answer it for me. Brawler's just close to us. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much right down the road, almost. So it was no brainer to choose that. Yeah.
And with this particular run, my grandmother actually lives basically right in the city where it's happening. So we're actually going to go crash at her place, so we don't have to drive, because it's like an hour and a half, and we don't want to have to drive that there and back each day. So there's a lot of convenience as to why we pick Brawlers. And we do have a few folks that we're in contact with who are pretty heavy into the tournament circuit, like have been to the Masters, that sort of thing. And they all talk about it very favorably, that it's just a fun time. You don't really get tangled up a lot into BS, which we're just not interested in getting involved in. You just get to go and throw down and have a good time, and the venue is apparently awesome, so we figured why not. And as far as why we decided to try a tournament in general, I don't know. It's just a change of pace. I mean, it's not... don't get us wrong. It's not like we're sitting here like thirsting for victory and we're going after it in that kind of mindset. It's more... It gives us an excuse to play 5 games of Warhammer in 2 days. Against some folks who we don't normally get to play against. So that's pretty much the end-all and be-all of it.
And some armies we don't get a chance to play against as well. You know, because I'd love to play against Skaven again, or heck, even Chaos Dwarves. You know, I'd like to see how I can do against them.
Yeah, and I mean, the only time I get to play against Lizardmen is when our tournament friends show up. So I get that game twice a year. So stuff like that could be fun.
Yeah.
Now, this is one we'll have to answer on behalf of Michael. Because Nicholas asks, why doesn't Michael have a channel yet to promote the dwarf lifestyle? I will answer that one very simply. Michael is a dwarf in all things except for one. He is the least industrious person I've ever met. It's pure laziness. I really do think that's it. I think he just enjoys playing, but the idea of running a channel is a little too much work for him. So, and don't get me wrong, the guy works long, hard hours and a terrible job. So.
That too. Yeah.
He is deserving of all the rest and relaxation that he can get, so I won't hold that to him. So, next question. Any changes to the narrative for 2015? Any more embracing of the end times materials and themes? In general, other than I think we're going to make use of some of the Triumph and Treachery rules, I don't see any like major changes that we're at the helm at. I do have to say, with the whole like rumor about the sundering happening at the end of the end times, I kind of want to turn our narrative around and make us save the world instead.
Yeah.
What about you, Skip?
I mean, unless something big and really nice comes out in the remaining of the books, I mean, really the only thing that we've 100% accepted is the lords and heroes, 50%. But as far as the cane magic, we gave it a shot, and it blew like a hurricane wind. So, we're not going to, I don't think we're going to ever incorporate that. And if we do, then we all need to get our skulls checked. But as far as anything else, I don't foresee anything, unless something big comes out that just kicks us both, makes all of us go wow. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I think we're not using the group, like the group armies, just because I don't think any of us really want to spend the money to go pick up some things. Though I have been seriously chomping at the bit to go get a Jabberslythe, but I've managed to control myself because financially it's not the best time right now. So my particular industry is at a slow point in the year, so my expendable money is low, and I've actually most of my expendable money at the moment is earmarked for commission projects from Black Tower Terrain. He's making he's going to be making some amazing stuff for me, whether he knows it or not yet. He is working on some. What I was looking down at is I just got an email from him saying about what he's getting started for me already, but that's another thing. So yeah, I don't see, and I mean, none of us play Skaven, so I think we're going to as a group, get the Skaven book that's coming out just for the fluff ways. But if we end up selling any of them, that probably will be the one we're most likely going to sell after we're done. But yeah, I don't really see us embracing the end times too much more. Then he says, thoughts on the 9th edition rumors?
Ugh.
I I need some time and some space to discuss these. We actually decided as a group we're not going to discuss that on this show. They're too new. We're too much in the heat moment. I'll tell you in general terms, we are unanimously at this point against everything we've seen. But we're not going to go into details. If you really want to see my personal thoughts on it, I have been writing like a fiend to all the videos today, so I'm sure it wouldn't take much hunting to find some of what I wrote. And then his last question is, how is the 12 a.m. painting operation going? And for those of you that don't know, that is actually the business name of Alicia's painting service, is 12 a.m. Painting Service.
I didn't know that.
It's actually... Well, it actually came... She used to do, like, other art commissions. She used to do, like, prints for cards and stuff. And so it was, like... It was... Her initials are Alicia Merritt, so it's AM. And her symbol was a 12-sided die. So it was 12 a.m. art. So it's now just kind of gone to 12 a.m. Painting Services. It's going very well, actually. She just recently finished... the last of the work on the Sustainable Center's Wood Elf Avoidance Army, so that got sent off. Right now she's doing some work for Skaven and AZ's Zombies, which is good. She's got... I think her next project is a full Demon Army. Then she's got some small stuff for us. Like she's got something for you, got another one for Anthony. And some Blood Knights she's doing for another fella. And then my boss's, one of my boss's brothers may be getting her to do an entire undead army. Like he just bought the whole thing and wants the whole damn thing painted. So I'm still waiting for the details of that and the price negotiations to begin on that and stuff. But that could be a very lengthy project for her. But she's enjoying it, and it's, I mean... She started up her own channel. I don't know if you've seen it, Nicholas, but if you just search for Alicia Merritt, she started her own channel where she's doing some paint-a-sodes and she's going to be doing some just how-to vids, stuff like that. So it's definitely going very well. Thank you for asking. And I hope that you enjoy the stuff that she painted for you. I know she had a great time painting it, and hopefully you enjoyed as well. I also got some emails that we got some new comments, so let's go back there because I think that was the last of our questions.
Yep.
Dag blasted. All right. So, thanks, Vince. So Vince goes, all shall fear the dreaded Empire Penguin. Of course, at best he has hover. Badum-ching. I'm going to... See, that's actually, I think, how I'm going to determine whether that project is success or failure, as whether people think it's a penguin or not. Because, I mean, the trick is, like, the Albatross's wing design is actually pretty difficult. Like, it's not... Like, it's like it's black all the way around the edge of the wing, and then it kind of fades into gray into white for the center part of the wing. And like I said, it's going to be hard. I'm hoping to not make it look like a freaking penguin. So Caleb Goodson says, I have a question for you. I've seen your potential and your imagination. Why haven't you tried to get something published? Well, I have actually been published before. I don't know if anybody remembers it, because this was back in high school, but I used to write freelance for a little magazine called Scry. They did collectible card games, analysis, product reviews, things like that. So I actually have gotten stuff published before. And my campaign world for D&D, I tried to get published through Wizards of the Coast back before they came out with the Eberron setting in 3.5. I had written up my entire campaign setting and sent that into them, and ended up getting into I think I made it through the second round of choosing is what they told me, but that didn't go anywhere. And frankly, I'm glad because I ended up hating 3.5, so they would have totally raped my world. But I tell you, I've been published like in school stuff. Like I've gotten short stories published in the school literary magazines and stuff like that. Two big reasons I have not gotten anything really published. First is I'm a very greedy writer. I like having control over what I do. I don't like editors telling me what to do. I don't like people changing what I've put into a story or a world creation or a narrative. And to that end, I make a lousy writer for being published. You really have to be open for that sort of thing to get published traditionally. So that's one. And two, I'm also terrible at writing like novel length things. I can write novellas, I can write short stories, but simply for me, the reason why I write is to find out what happens in the story. And once I know what happens in the story, I absolutely lose any desire to write it. So that's kind of one thing. Like when I write anything, I don't ever outline it. I don't ever know what's going on until I write it, and then I write it, and then I know what's going on, and I lose interest. So it's probably really bad habits, but that's why I get to write for my own enjoyment and for the enjoyment of all of you fellas on YouTube. So that kind of answers that question. He also says that Pistoliers are his best unit. He runs them in a 10-man unit. Nothing like 20 shots on the flank. All hail the Knights of the Black Powder. Absolutely. I only have 5 right now, but God, do they hit above their pay grade. So let's see. Next. Don't worry, I'll never run out of questions. I am queryful. This is Vince Venturella, by the way. Here's another one. When are we going to see the next Mittierim Fixes Warhammer? From the sound of it, about 20 minutes after 9th edition comes out. In honesty, I'm not sure. I haven't had anything jump out at me as being an appropriate topic for Mittierim Fixes Warhammer in a little bit. For those of you who have seen the videos, my whole point behind them is to take a unit that doesn't really fit its fluff and come up with new rules or a new way of looking at it that makes it fit the fluff. And I did the Bretonnian Knights. I did, what the heck else did I do? I don't even remember the second one I did. That's bad. I've done, like, I'm up to 140 something videos right now. I have trouble remembering them all. But I haven't had, Mittierim Fixes Warhammer is just one of those things that'll kind of go when I have the spark for it, and I'll sit down and I'll do it in 10 minutes, and it flies off into the ether. So if you have anything that you would like me to do for it, go ahead and submit some thoughts, and I'll see when I can do another one. So let's see. Oh, apparently Black Tower Terrain noticed that I said he was going to be doing amazing things for me and laughs. And Darkseed T says he really wants to take a look at the End Times Thanquol, and he wants to know what's going on with that. All right, you know what? Since that's not really like the dark stuff from the new rumors, let's talk about that a little bit. So before we go into it, neither Skip nor myself are Skaven players. We have probably, between the two of us, played, what would you say, 8 to 10 games against Skaven combined?
Yep, I'd say that's a good number.
Okay. So I have 2 things wrong with this. First of all, the idea of giant Skaven characters on par with some of the ones we've seen just seems weird to me. They just, I just don't feel like they should work that way. The Skaven seem to be way less overt than that. I mean, am I wrong in that, Skip, or is is there something weird about giant freaking building-sized monsters, minus the Hell Pit, of course, but...
Well, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but Skaven live underground. Am I correct in assuming that?
For the most part, yeah.
How does something big like that get through the small holes that they build?
Well, what they don't tell you is that Skaven's #1 import is shovels.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's weird. I don't foresee, it just doesn't fit. I just don't. I mean, you got everything else is just really small, really small, really small, and then you got this huge creature. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, at least with like the Hell Pit Abomination, it looks squishy enough where you could theoretically see it like squishing in the tunnels. Like, it doesn't look like it has an abundance of bones in it. So I can see that. But these guys, they got bones. Let's call a spade a spade. They got bones. So in case GW is working, our biggest complaint with the new models is they have bones.
They have bones.
Actually, that's not my biggest complaint with it. The second thing I was going to bring up is, have you seen the pictures of the new Skaven Rat Lords, or whatever the hell they're calling them?
I haven't looked at, to be honest with you. I saw the thing, but that's the only one I've seen.
You've seen? Okay.
I've seen the bone thing.
Okay, Bonar or whatever he is got the. So I kind of want to find this. See, I don't. I wish I had like a voice-operated search engine here, because I know people on the Warhammer's YouTubers site has posted one. I want to like. So that's not the right one. That's the Bonar that basically looks like he's got a fracking cannon on his arm. But it's actually not him that I have a problem with, because that kind of fits, excuse me, to what I've seen. It's, where the hell is that picture? It's the freaking Skaven Lords, and I can't find it right now. But the Skaven Lord they always show has like 24 freaking horns on his head. And I swear, the first time I looked at it, I was like, awesome, the Beastmen are getting a new kit. Because it looks like a big freaking Beastman mod. I mean, it looks like a giant Great Beret Shaman or something. It surprised the crap out of me when I found out that it was a Skaven model. Because it doesn't look right. But
what is it? Is it like go big or go home now with the Games Workshop? Everything is huge.
Well, right. I mean, well, you got to figure their whole push is towards this, like, let's get the little kiddies money, so let's make something big and shiny and cool. Which, I mean, honestly, I am not going to begrudge them that, because you know what? They're there to make money. No big deal. What I would like to do is feel like the pieces that I see fit the army. Because, like I said, it looks to me like a Beastman. It doesn't look like a rat. But so Vince responds, "Yes, we dig. It's pretty much that easy." To be fair, the Vernal Demon, I think he's as big as he wants to be. Also, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have to walk around in the tunnel. Pretty sure he just shows up when he wants to. Why? Did you want to tell him? The new Thanquil and Bone Ripper is a special model. This is a new creation for the conquering of the surface world. The 13th and first really large model. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. And like I said, I don't have an issue with the Thanquil and Bone Ripper model. For me, the Vermin Lords just don't look like rats. That's my bigger thing, is I want them to look like rats. And I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, who gives a crap what I think? I'm never going to buy one. I'm never going to play one, because I'm not a Skaven player. But they just look weird, and I don't know. Maybe Vince mentioned at some point that there are different horn setups, so maybe you can like build one that doesn't look as weird. But the other thing that gets me is there's a Clan Eshin version of one. So here's my question. What the hell is the point of a 45-foot-tall ninja? Where are you going to sneak?
That reminds me of that Bugs Bunny cartoon where the giant's sneaking around. He tries to hide behind a hedge. You know, I don't know. That's funny to me.
Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, I'm not gonna poo-poo on Games Workshop for making something big and cool, because they gave everybody except for the elves something big and cool in these releases. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem to fit. And like I said, who cares what I say, because I'm an ogre player. I'm not gonna play Skaven ever, really. So who cares? But that's kind of my thoughts on that. Let's see what else we got going on here. I hate that this makes me... we pissed off our Skaven friends.
Oh, no.
I don't know, just like Dark CT and Vince, just boom, 2 big posts. See, Dark CT says he can see the people at Hell Pit making something huge and crazy. He says, the new Bone Ripper looks like he's got a bunch of Skaven flamethrowers on his arms and is actually pretty slick. He doesn't know about Thanquil, and frankly he's unsure about the Vermin Lords from a play perspective, but he does want to see the story and exactly what the Great Horned Rat is bringing to bear. And the Vermin Lord are horns because they're the Horned Rat's avatars. Quite horned indeed. Okay. I accept your fluff answer and nod along with it. I still want you to explain to me what's good as a 45-foot ninja, but and Vince basically says the same thing. Their god's called the Horned Rat, to be fair. He's not a little kitty, but they're certainly getting his money.
Look, the Skaven need to give it up. They're going to eventually realize it's just a wood elf.
Right.
They'll worship it. You know, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to break it to you now. It's a wood elf.
So actually, you know what? Now that people were asking what our new narrative change for 2015 is, that's it. Melisandre, the Keeper of Secrets, is actually just a wood elf in a nice costume.
There you go. The cat is out of the bag.
Right. Well, we already decided that Khorne is really Grungy, right? Or Grimnir. Yeah. I can't keep the dwarf gods straight. So there are really no chaos gods. It's just the older race is fucking with people.
They got bored.
And Vince actually mentions a very good point here. To get kind of back what he's talking about. He says his only regret is that few other armies don't have big centerpiece models. And I agree. Yeah. I think, or more to the point, even those that do, for the most part, they're kind of terrible. I mean, yeah, the ogres have the Stonehorn and the Thunder Tusk, but they're pretty much cannon bait. Mm-hmm. Although the Stonehorn's pretty good, he gets to half that. But like, I feel bad for the dwarfs. I mean, they missed the boat there. I don't know. I agree, Vince.
And the Anvil of Doom could be so much better. I mean, it's a great looking model. The one I have I love, but they dropped the ball. I told him.
Speaking of which, I told him yesterday he needs to bring that to Brawlers. I dared him to bring it to Brawlers, and he's seriously thinking about it.
Wow.
I'm like, that's awesome, dude. But yeah, and you know, if somebody's going to, it will be him. He's seriously going to bring that freaking thing to Brawlers. So Caleb answers the question about the 45-foot tall ninja. He says he stomps you quickly and vanishes without trace. And Vince said there could be 45-foot tall ninjas in the room with me right now, but they're still ninjas, so I can never be sure. Being that I'm sitting in my kitchen with an 11-foot ceiling over me, I'm pretty sure. Oh, God. This is funny. Speaking of which, we need to get you in, Vince, for our Skaven Day whenever we decide to get to it. Because I would feel bad if we invited anybody else. Maybe him and Skaven AZ. We'll bring them both on since none of us play Skaven, and just have them tear each other up. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me.
So Nicholas Belaert responds, "Great show. Regarding giant models with the Skaven, seems to be an end times thing. Everybody gets a ridiculous giant thing to fight in the arena with Shazam and Nagash." Yes. So I want, if we're going to do this, let's go ahead and say it. I mean, if you're going to go ahead and do the giant arena dudes, give us all one.
Yeah.
I want a freaking 1.5 foot tall model for a Gorger. And just it'll be like the Avatar of the Great Maw. It'll be 200 pounds of plastic. It'll be awesome. What giant model would you get for your army, Skip?
I would say like a new Green Knight and have him huge, almost like Carl Franz huge on a dragon or something like that. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. See, that'll be the other thing. I may have to, like, when I get my my Empire Penguin painted up, I may have to use the stats of Carl Franz Ascended just to see what kind of bullshit that is. I don't know. I want a big. I don't know. I want a big ogre with something. I don't know. Just a giant maw, like that just moves around. It's not tall, but it's like this wide, and you just move it across the board and it eats things. I'm not.
Maybe a giant metal golem, kind of like Robbie the Robot for the dwarves.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Something that they created, something bigger than them, that they could, a centerpiece for them. Like I said, all they have is the Anvil of Doom, and that sucks now. Mm-hmm. So
did I tell you, totally changing the subject for a minute, but I'm not sure why this popped up in my mind. Alicia gave me a suggestion for my man-eater conversion for the Wood Elves.
Mm-hmm.
I put a little bit of green stuff like up around his head like this, and then I cut off the weapon ends of his 2 clubs and put leaves on the end of him and have him pretending to be a tree.
That you got to go that way. That's awesome.
I got to figure out how to make it look right, but that may be an option. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think with my conversions, I'm done with all the easy ones. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to do an old school Chaos Dwarf one, but I'm gonna need to like convert the Pope hat and the blunderbuss from something. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna make those out of. Mm. Like, the other thing I was thinking of is I could go with like their flaming pike weapon or whatever, but the blunderbuss is just, it screams old school to me way more. So I kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
And I haven't done any of the elf ones yet. But so just to let everybody know, we won't be doing the the acceptance speech tonight. Michael has just found his problem. Apparently, his main driver totally fried itself, so he's got to go get a new one on Friday. So. No Michael for this show, so sad. I'm gonna send him the little text frowny face. I'm so glad in this modern day we can replace actual human contact with a series of tiny yellow smiley faces, aren't you?
Emoticons, gotta love them.
Oh, awesome. But we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. Let's hit the comments one more time and then wrap this bad boy up since Michael's not coming.
Okay.
So Vince says, "I'm in, sir. Skaven AZ and I will double team it on all of you who doubt the Verminous Horde and its eventual victory." Well, we will. I'll have to get back in touch. Skaven and AZ said he would be he would want to come on. So I'll have to see like what his schedule looks like, because we definitely got to get him before those 3 babies come. Otherwise, he will not exist to the YouTube world again. Bretts absolutely need a dick on a dragon. Also, ogres need a giant. Not like the normal giant, that is a giant compared to humans, like a human giant. Ogres need an ogre giant. Bigger over the ogre as an ogre is over the man. I had a hard time even saying that, Vince. But actually, what I think I should just do for that is make the Noblars 3, but make them out of ogres. Just copy your design and do 3 ogres on top of each other holding giant weapons and the giant head, because I still have the extra giant weapons and giant head. I'll just need a crap ton of green stuff to make that cloak trench coat thing that you made.
Oh, boy.
And then we'll just keep it going. Like, if we need something bigger, we'll just stack 3 giants on top of each other and do it in... I'll need like 45 pounds of green stuff, though. We'll just get ridiculous with it. I don't know what we would do after the 3 giants stacked on each other, but we'll have to figure something out. Let's see. Caleb says he already has a big model for his Empire army. He uses the Clockwork Dragon from Reaper Bones as his steam tank, which is absolutely awesome. I've actually been desperately trying to figure out something to do with that model. I definitely want to use it, because we bought so many of those Reaper Bones. I probably got my body weight in Reaper Bones in the other room from the Kickstarter. And there's just so much stuff to use, and we haven't. We've got that the big undead dragon, which I swear is as big as my torso. It's pretty ridiculous.
Wow.
Oh, Alicia has apparently informed me that model is hers, and the only reason that she hasn't painted it yet is she doesn't own enough paint. But yeah. I know Alicia wants to do the big, I think I mentioned this in the last paint-episode, the big giant elephant from Lord of the Rings with the Huda on its back. Like, they make one of those, so she wants to use that as her arachnoid spider. Because she won't do spiders, but... I was like, that's pretty awesome, except for their rule where they get to walk over buildings and stuff. I have a hard time seeing the elephant do that, but... it should be pretty cool.
Spider elephant does whatever a spider elephant does.
All right.
I don't know.
So, Dark CT says that I should rip up a can and use it as a basis for the blunderbuss, which is a good idea. I just have to make it fit with because I don't have any of the arms. I don't think I have any of the arms left for the iron blasters. So, like, what I think I need to do is, like, do one where the guy's, like, holding it up like he's standing at attention. Which maybe I could do, like, use the arm they use for their banner bears, because I have a bunch of those left, and, like, I don't know. I have to figure it out. And then Vince says, the Ogre Muppet Man. Damn it, you took exactly what was in my head. Everyone fears the giant Muppet Man. And apparently after that, I have to go for the Nagash Muppet Man. 3 Nagashes stacked on top of each other with a fake cloak.
No.
Yeah, that just isn't happening, Vince. If you want to shell out the 3 costs of Nagash and do it yourself, have at it, brother. I lay no claim to that idea. All right, guys. Well, it has been almost an hour and a half, and thank you guys for all participating. Of course, Alicia says we should do a stack of like 60 skeletons pretending to be Nagash in a cloak. Which is frankly more doable, and I actually think it's probably collective. You can probably buy 60 skeletons for under what Nagash costs.
That would be very humorous.
I need to have you executed.
Thank you. Thank you.
But anyway, thank you guys, everybody who has been commenting, who sent in questions. I just want to say from a personal note, we're not going to really get into the acceptance speech thing, but I have absolutely loved doing this show. I was just going through withdrawal the last 2 weeks, not being able to do it. It's been so much fun to be part of this community. And everybody who watches this and sends in comments and questions really makes this just an absolute blast for us. So thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, definitely thank you. And we'll give our total acceptance speech later with Michael here. But again, I want to just reiterate, yeah, without you guys, we couldn't have as much fun as we do. So
awesome. Well, next week I'm hoping to kind of talk to some folks, maybe get back some guests. If nothing else, I can drag in Vince because he still has 3 or 4 armies that we haven't talked to him about. But we're hoping to get back starting next week into the army discussions again. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. Thank you guys, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
See you.